Alright, so there's a lot of talk lately about 4x4s, especially the Mefferts 4x4. Recently, a lot of people have been buying Mefferts 4x4s, and they're getting great reviews. So a lot of people are, buying them up because apparently they're a lot better than the Rubix or the Eachine. And what I thought I'd do is a comparison of all the 4x4s that I have. I'm sure there's other brands besides these, but the Mefferts, Rubix, retooled Rubix, and the Eachine. And hopefully this will be helpful if you're planning on, buying a 4x4 in the near future. This might influence your decision into getting one that might be better for you than another. So what I'm going to do first is talk about each one of them, how they turn, the pros, the cons, what's good about them, what's bad about them, and hopefully, this will be very helpful. So, first, the Eachine, I'll talk about the Eachine first because this one is the one that does not belong in the group of all the other ones. The Eachine has a very strange mechanism for a 4x4 in that it is a spindle type. I'll talk about what that means in a few minutes. All the other 4x4s are groove types, and so this has a special distinction. A lot of people use this as their weapon of choice, and I understand why. It turns very well, and there's actually a lot of reviews that the person will say, well, it turns really well, look how well it turns. But really spinning one side doesn't tell you anything. Yes, it does spin very well, but that can actually be a weakness in and of itself, and the reason is that it overturns. For example, if I were to do a U and it ended up like this, I would have a problem if I need to do an arc prime. So, overturns are no damn good, you don't want that. So being too loose is actually or loose maybe isn't the word, but spinning too well with not enough resistance is actually sort of a problem for the Eachine 4x4, and also it's very prone to lockups. There's a lot of problems with simple stuff like this locking up, which is, annoying when you're trying to speed solve. Even so, this is much better than the Rubix 4x4 in my opinion. Just because, although it does lock up, it doesn't feel so loose and awkward. So the Rubix 4x4, like I just said, it's loose and it's awkward. When I bought this, it was it's very tight. Now again, it's loose. I can spin aside like that, but that doesn't tell you anything. It does lock up a lot. If it was a bit tighter, it'd be a lot better. And the problem about overturning is kind of solved with the Rubix 4x4. But at the same time, the pieces are kind of big and awkward, and they lock up a lot. So that's a big problem. The retooled Rubix is quite a bit nicer than the original Rubix. Really not that much of a difference, but as far as I can tell, the turning is more precise by a little bit. It's the exact same size and weight, I think. And really there's not much to say about this. It's pretty good. I haven't played with this at all. I think I've solved it maybe once, and turns very nicely, considering I just got it. The Mefferts 4x4s are quite nice as well. The problem with the resistance is solved. It turns quite nicely, but it doesn't overturn, which is nice. You don't have to really worry about alignment problems as much for overturning and stuff. And something that the Mefferts can do that the other cubes really can't is it can cut corners. For example, you'd be hard pressed to do this on a Rubix 4x4 or even an Eachine 4x4. There's no way you could do that. So it does turn a lot better than the other ones. Still, this hasn't been broken in pretty much at all, but it's very nice. I would recommend this. The black version, something that's kind of strange about the black version is that I've been told, even before I bought these, that the black version doesn't turn as well, and I thought that was kind of odd. But evidently it's true because I haven't really played with either of these too much. The black one doesn't turn very well at all compared to the white one. But same mechanism, so I'm sure after they're broken in they'll turn the same. One other thing that's notable is that the black side on the white version of the Eachine, it's kind of odd. I don't really like black stickers on my 3x3s because it throws off my cross, but black stickers is actually very nice on a big cube because it helps with your edge pairing. It's very easy to recognize black pieces. Last thing I need to talk about is just size comparison between them. Of course, the new and old Rubix are exactly the same size. The Mefferts is slightly bigger, and I think the only reason it's bigger is because the plastic tiles have a bit of thickness to them. So I think these are pretty much the same size actually, and very similar weight as well. The only real difference is the Eachine, and the Eachine is exactly 6 centimeters across, very slightly smaller than the Rubik's, or Mefferts, I guess. Alright, so let's pry this sucker open and see what it looks like on the inside. Now, those of you that don't know what an Eachine 4x4 looks like from the inside, you'll be quite surprised, I'm sure. That is, if you know what the Rubik's ones look like on the inside. The Eachine 4x4 actually has centerpieces, which is kind of strange, and it will be explained in a second. Let's just take the centerpiece off so that we can take off the top layer. And, okay. So, if you look closely, you will notice that this is actually a 5x5 mechanism. Kind of a strange thing, but you know, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. The basic the difference between the Eachine and all the other brands is that this is a spindle type, while the other ones are a groove type. And basically, what that means is that we do have center pieces on this. Now, if you look closely, you'll notice that it is a 5x5 mechanism. We have these center pieces. If you're looking at this layer, this piece here, this long piece, would be a center edge. These two pieces would be center corners. This would be an edge, or a wing edge, I guess. And you know, if you were to go one layer lower, which I really don't want to do, we would see, you know, all the center pieces of the 5x5. The way that it keeps from locking up, though, is we have this piece on the core, which is, I don't know if I can get a bit more light in there. We have this piece on the core which is bandaged, sort of like how the 2x2, the Eachine 2x2 works. We have this bandaged piece on the core, and that keeps it working like a 4x4 rather than a 5x5. If we didn't have that, we'd have lockups big time. Anyways, so that's basically what this guy looks like, and that's why it's such a nightmare to put this thing back together, because you're actually assembling a 5x5, not a 4x4. I think there's something like 192 pieces or something like this in this. So that's another thing to take into consideration, I guess, with the Eachine 4x4, is that if you get a pop, you're done. There's no way to reassemble this for the rest of the solve or whatever. So that's pretty much that. Let's look at some of the other ones, I guess, and see what they look like. So for the groove type of 4x4, why don't we start by comparing the old version and the retooled version of the Rubik's brand. So, yeah. These are a bit simpler in their mechanism, and a lot less of a pain if they pop than the Eachine 4x4. Alright, so as you can see, we have very much the same mechanism going on here. In that we have this inner ball and these grooves in which the pieces can slide upon. And basically how it works is the center pieces all slide around on these grooves, and all the other pieces are held in similarly to how the 3x3 pieces are held in by its core. So really not too much of a difference with these two puzzles. I'm not really sure what these little holes here on the retooled version are for, but a little bit different in their structure. Also, you can tell that on the Rubik's 4x4 we have a screw on every one of the sides, whereas on the retooled version it seems like we only have a screw on probably 2 of the sides. I can't really see exactly from here, but so yeah, these two are very, very similar in their structure. Alright, so as you can see, the Mefferts 4x4 is extremely similar in design to the Rubik's 4x4. We have the same sort of groove, inner ball, I guess, whatever you want to call it, and not really much difference at all. The shape of the pieces is slightly different on the Mefferts. The center the center pieces are a bit thicker, and the curve here is exaggerated a little bit, as you can see on these two. But other than that, really pretty much the same thing. It's curious that the Mefferts turn so much better. The reason that I think the Mefferts is so much better is that it's a lot tighter, it seems, and the turning is a bit more exact, whereas the random and looseness of the Rubik's 4x4 kind of leads to its downfall in the fact that it doesn't turn as well. It causes a lot of lockups. So you know, that's let me get a bit of a closer look here on the Mefferts, and you'll notice one other thing that I didn't mention yet is that the centers don't seem to have any screws that you can undo. I'm sure maybe one on the bottom does, but oops. So, you know, very similar structure. The Mefferts is a bit better. I won't take apart the black Mefferts for the simple fact that it's the same as the white Mefferts. So that's pretty much it for the similarities and differences. Really all I have to say is that the Mefferts is a great cube. Maybe not perfect like everyone is suggesting. It does have its weaknesses, and but I definitely prefer it over either the Ishin or the Rubik's. For now, anyways, we'll see how it ages. But everyone else seems to like it as well. So maybe this video will have influenced your decision on what kind of cubes you want to buy in the future. Hopefully it's been helpful for you.